What's up and welcome to Taipei City. My name's Luke Martin with ChopstickTravel.com, and today I am so excited to announce that we are back in Taiwan. It has been too long and we have been dying to get back here. So we will be spending the next 2 months exploring the whole island, making a ton of food videos for you, and just sampling all kinds of delicious Taiwanese food. So today we are in Taipei City and we are going for a full day of eating. I am super pumped to be back and I am really hungry, so let's go eat. We have come to our first spot today for a very popular breakfast snack here in Taipei. So right behind me you can see this man is cooking a ton of baked buns. So he's sort of cooking them in this big kind of like drum that he has fashioned into an oven. So we are hoping to order 2 different kinds. It takes a little while for them to make and he's just making a fresh batch. So the first one we're going to try is a sweet bun and the second we're going to try is a salty bun. So we are waiting for him to finish making the sweet kind right now. So we waited about 10 minutes for a very popular snack, as I mentioned, from this very popular shop called Heji, and this is the su bing. So this is one of 2 dishes that they cook here that are very popular. The other we are waiting for right now, and that is the xiao bing. So this is the tian su bing or sweet su bing, and that is filled with a mixture of dough and sugar. And as you can see, it has been topped with a ton of sesame seeds. So they're kind of toasted from the massive drum that he is cooking these in, and the man cooking these is extremely friendly and he is just a master, very attentive watching these cook to make sure they are perfect, and I'm ready to dig into this. All right, let's take a big bite out of this sweet su bing, and this smells amazing. It has such a smoky aroma. Let's try it out. Mmm. Oh yeah, that is phenomenal. That is so flaky and crusty on the outside, and I can just taste so much flavor coming from those sesame seeds. But then on the inside, it is not hard at all. It is actually very doughy, almost a little bit gooey from that sugar that has caramelized on the inside. And that's not too sweet, but just right. That is awesome. Okay, we have waited for the second product from this shop, and this is it. This is the xiaobing, and what makes this spot's xiaobing particularly famous is that this is a whole xiaobing, which is a thick xiaobing. So you can see it is quite thick. It is very doughy feeling, and it's not as flaky as the subing. So there's not as many sesame seeds on this either, but it is cooked in the same oven. And then on the bottom you can see it has been kind of charred from that hot barrel. So let's break into this and try it. All right, I'm just gonna tear into this guy, and it feels hot and fresh, and oh, that actually has quite a bit of resistance to it. And you can see inside there, it looks quite buttery. There's not like a ton of green onions, but there's definitely a sprinkling of them. So let's take a bite of this xiaobing. Oh yeah. Oh, that's so buttery. Okay, that is also very, very good. That is extremely buttery, but it doesn't have as much of a sesame seed taste. You can definitely taste a little bit of green onions in there, and this is not nearly as flaky or crispy as the subing. It's more of kind of like elasticy, doughy bread. I do think I preferred the subing, but don't get me wrong, this is still incredibly good. It is just so buttery, and also I find this one to be a little bit more smoky than the subing, and this spot is just pumping out these. It is extremely popular, and now I can see why. These are awesome. All right, that was a wicked way to start our day here today in Taipei City, but we are going on a full day of eating because we were just so excited to be back in Taiwan. So let's continue. Okay, so we have come for lunch today to a very popular market here in Taipei City. This is the Nanmen Market. So what we are here for is on the second floor where the food court is located, but on the bottom floor there's a lot of fresh produce and lots of cool Taiwanese ingredients. So we'll show you that, but really we're gonna go upstairs to eat. So let's go inside. Okay, so we have made our way to the second floor of the Nanmen Market where this amazing food court is located, and we just waited about 25 minutes in line at a very popular stall here for something that just looks incredible. So this is a very special bowl of beef noodle soup. So beef noodle is very common all throughout Taiwan. It's one of the most popular dishes, but this is a tomato beef noodle bowl, and this is absolutely just beautiful. There's so much going on here. So they've got egg in here, some nice pieces of beef, a few big chunks of tomato, some lettuce, and then underneath here we have some amazing looking hand cut noodles. So these are just being hand sliced freshly behind the counter, and other than that I think it's just a beef broth and then kind of infused with the tomato flavor, and this just looks absolutely beautiful. It's an extremely colorful bowl of noodles, and just check out those noodles. They are very kind of strangely shaped, but I think those will taste amazing. So I am totally ready to dig into this bowl here. So let's start by just trying this broth, and it actually doesn't look too oily. There's a lot of kind of like silty pieces of beef going on in there, and let's try that. Oh yeah. Oh wow. Oh, you can actually already taste the tomato kind of infused into that broth. But that is extremely beefy, not salty, not spicy, but just really strong, beefy, kind of fruity flavor with that tomato. We gotta try these noodles now. So let's grab these noodles, and I'm just gonna go in just for one of these noodles by itself. And that is kind of a big, thick noodle, so let's try that out. Oh man. Oh, those are good. Oh yeah. Okay, that is extremely firm noodle, thick, very thick. And the way that he makes these noodles is really interesting. He kind of has a big glob of the noodle dough, and then he has a special kind of slicing device that he uses to slice each of these noodles individually, and the texture of that is just incredible. It doesn't soak up too much of the broth because it's a really firm noodle, but it has an amazing texture. I'm gonna go in for a piece of tomato and a noodle here. Let's try that. Those tomatoes are so fresh. They're almost a little bit sour. And like I mentioned, it's almost fruity. That goes really nicely with the kind of heavy, meaty broth. Okay guys, this bowl of beef noodles is phenomenal. This is so just mouth-watering. I am loving it. Every bit of the components of this dish just combines to make one of the best bowls of beef noodles I've honestly ever had. Especially the highlight of the show has got to be these hand-cut noodles. You can just tell that so much care goes into them. So let's go in for another bite. Piece of beef and a noodle. Oh man. Oh, that beef is just ridiculously tender. This is just so flavorful. The broth is so rich. It really has like a deep kind of Taiwanese flavor to it. Some 5 spice going on in there. And then that fruitiness comes right through. Kind of like tart, acidic tomato taste. This is just incredible bowl of beef noodle soup here in Taiwan. Alright, that was an amazing bowl of tomato beef noodle. We are super stuffed after that hearty soup, and we are gonna go to a very popular spot here in Taipei called Dihua Street. So let's go there right now.
Today at Dihua Street in Taipei City. As you can see behind me, the buildings are super old and beautiful, and it is packed out. This is the oldest street in Taipei, and it is super important this time of year before Chinese New Year to get everything you need for Chinese New Year, whether it be teas, Chinese medicine, clothing, anything you could think of. And we are just checking it out today. It is awesome here.
So no food tour here in Taiwan is complete without a visit to one of the numerous night markets. So tonight we are at the Ningxia night market here in Taipei. This isn't as big as some of the more popular ones here in Taipei, but it's definitely a hot spot for the locals. So we're gonna be doing a little bit of snacking, and there are 2 dishes in particular that we wanna try tonight. So let's go eat. So we have our first snack today from the Ningxia night market, and we just waited in quite an extensive line. That was actually a line with 33 people in front of us when we first got in it. But apparently these are some of the best snacks you can get at the whole night market. And this is a deep fried taro ball. So it looks pretty simple. We've got 2 different kinds. One of them has been filled with a salted egg yolk as well as pork floss, and the other is just the deep fried taro. So I'm not exactly sure, but I think this is the one with the egg yolk inside. So I'm gonna bite into this one first and try it out, and they are just piping hot. They're pumping these out and people are buying them by the dozen. So let's try this out. Oh. Oh wow. Okay. So that was a lot creamier than I expected. It's extremely crispy on the outside, and actually I was wrong. This one does not have any salted egg yolk on the inside. But to be honest, it's a little bit bland. It's a little bit sweet, but it's also quite greasy and oily. It's alright, but I think with the salted egg yolk, it might be a little bit better. So let's try that one next. Okay, the first taro ball we tried was a little bit disappointing, so hopefully this one lives up to why that line was so long, and this must be the one that has the salted egg yolk and pork floss. So let's try this out. Oh. So that has a totally different flavor. This is a savory and a sweet flavor, opposed to the first was just sweet. There is a big chunk of salted egg yolk and then quite a bit of that pork floss as well. To be honest, this one's not that good either. It's very oily, and it just kind of tastes like anything that's been deep fried. Creamy on the inside. This one's definitely got more flavor than the first, but it's not that special to me. But hopefully we can find something else that's pretty good tonight. So let's keep looking. snack for the day is another very popular dish here at the Ningxia night market. This is mochi or mochi, and this just looks amazing. Check this out. These are huge balls of pounded rice cake mochi, and then they've been covered, this one in peanut powder and then this one in sesame, ground sesame with sugar. So these were being boiled kind of in like a massive cauldron, and then they're served up and then chopped with a ton of this peanut and sesame, and these look awesome. Just check out the consistency there. They're extremely kind of goopy, and they're just kind of falling out of my chopsticks. Oh, that looks awesome. So I'm just gonna go in for a bite right now. Oh yeah. Oh man, that mochi is a perfect little dessert, not too sweet, but it's still warm from being boiled. And since it's been heated up, it's kind of extra chewy, kind of extra gooey, and with the peanuts, that's really nice. So now let's try the one with the sesame, and it's kind of just coated in that black sesame. There is like a couple centimeters of sesame on top of that. So let's go in for another big bite. Oh man. All right, I think I prefer the sesame kind. It's a little bit sweeter, but just full of that sesame flavor. And these are massive balls of mochi. I just can't get over it. It's so gooey, so chewy and warm, just kind of comforting, not too sweet or overpowering. That is a perfect, probably the best mochi I've ever had. Awesome. Okay guys, that's it for our food tour today here in Taipei. We had so much fun making it. There's just so much great food here in Taiwan, and I really cannot express to you how happy we are to be back. So if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because we are going to be making a ton of Taiwanese street food videos. And make sure you guys give this video a big thumbs up, and let me know if you have any questions in the comment box, and subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye bye.